What's up, you guys? Today I wanted to do a little catch up with me Q&A. So we are in the guest room and I'm just excited to do a little chatty video and just like catch up with you guys. I feel like we haven't done a Q&A in a while, and I have to tell you guys something that I just realized the other day when I was thinking about this video, and I realized that I meant to do this in Vlogmas, not like for a whole video. It was just gonna be like included in one of my vlogs. I posted this on my Instagram story on December 17th, so like a month ago. And then I completely, in the like week leading up to Christmas, I completely forgot. I didn't even look at any of the questions. I completely just blanked that I wanted to do it yesterday. I was like, oh my gosh, I never did that Q&A. I went back, I found all the questions. Luckily on Instagram, they're like still available in my archive. So I figured I would just take my favorite of those questions that didn't have to actually do with like Vlogmas and Christmas. So I'm just excited to catch up with you guys. And you can probably tell by the title of this video that we have some life updates in this video as well. So I am going to get into that soon, but I kind of just wanted to answer the questions in order of how I screenshotted them. So don't worry, it's not clickbait. Thank you to any of you guys who submitted questions from a month ago. So maybe it'll be a little surprise if yours made it into the video. All right, I love this question. One product you're so happy you found in 2024. I'm so glad you asked because I've actually been wanting to share my updated, super simple makeup routine with you guys. So I actually filmed that the other day, and it actually shares my current favorite product, which are the Merit Flush Bombs. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys that right now. I feel like it's been forever since I just sat down and chatted with you guys through my current makeup routine. So kicking off the new year, this is kind of what I've been into lately. Very simple. I've been all about like 10-minute makeup lately, like just super quick. I really don't like dedicating a lot of time in the morning to getting ready. You guys know I work from home most of the time, but it feels so good to just give myself that like 10 or 15 minutes to do something that I know I'm just gonna feel better about myself throughout my day, and it is going to actually like make a difference. I always have to put my hair back, even though I look like everybody looks so cute in these things, and you guys, I actually look crazy. But it is what it is. I need to get my hair out of my face, and it's very successful for that. So I am so excited that for this video, I get to partner with Merit, a beauty brand that I've been using for like probably about 2 years now on my own. So getting started with the Minimalist, this is kind of like a foundation and concealer in one. And I just like something simple. Like you can put this under your eyes. You can go on your redness. I always have redness on my cheeks, and you don't have to like apply it everywhere per se. So like I just kind of like to keep it simple. A couple little dots on my forehead, a little bit down my chin. And now we're just gonna start blending. This is also a brush from Merit. I think simple and quick has just been kind of the key for me recently. It blends so quickly and so easily. And again, you don't have to use it all over your face. You can just use it in those areas like that you want a little bit of coverage. Okay, we've got a nice base and we only had to use one product. Next up, these have been my favorite thing recently. I've been trying these out for the past like 3-ish weeks. These are their new shades of their Flush Bomb. It's a cream tint blush. I can't decide which shade I like more today. I'm gonna use Lusitano, but this one is called Bespoke. It looks very dark in the packaging, but it's so beautiful on the skin. It's a neutrally like perfect for winter color. I've just been going back and forth between the two of these, but today we're gonna go with Lusitano. All right, I like to do a couple swipes just in an upward motion. Take the same brush from Merit and blend it in. I try not to actually like over blend it because I really like the look of it just kind of popping like that on my skin. It's very buildable, so you could always, you know, if you want a little bit more here. It feels like it just melts into your skin, and it's just kind of like an extension of your skin. I'm obsessed. All right, next I'm gonna use the Merit Clean Lash Mascara. Literally all I've been doing for eyes recently, unless I'm like going out on a date or something, is I've just been curling my eyelashes and doing some mascara. Super simple, super quick. This mascara is really good at lengthening with no smudging, and I'm just dying to get some lip on. I know my lips are looking a little dead. I suffer from, you guys, like, especially I feel like as I've gotten older, I've just noticed how much my lips blend in to my skin and do not give that like pinky pop. So I'm so excited to show you guys the products I've been obsessed with for my lips too. Lower lashes, nothing crazy. They are giving feathery, separated, absolutely no clumping. Okay, I'm taking this off because honestly it's giving me a headache. The corners of this give me, like, the way it like digs in. Guys, when I tell you this is the lip product I've been searching for my entire life, this is the Merit Shade Slick. It's a tinted lip oil. I have the shade Pink Beat, and I think it's like my perfect shade, but I would love to try them all because I am so obsessed with this. It goes on, it gives me like what I was just saying I needed is like that light. Like if that was my natural lip color, it just feels like it's what your lips are supposed to be. Hydrating, which is obviously, I just need that. Like I'm just dry in the winter, I need hydration, but then I also I need color. I had to go get this out of my purse that was in the car because it was on the go with me already. Like so good, so easy. You don't need a lip liner, you don't need a bunch of products. Here's our complete look. We used 4 products to achieve a full face. So easy, and I feel like it looks so put together. So right now on their site, Merit is offering their limited edition everything bag for free with orders $125 and up. You can also purchase the bag separately if you want to. It is limited edition for their 4-year anniversary. It's huge, you guys. So you guys can check out my Merit favorites and some exclusive discounted sets through my link. So my link is gonna take you to some Merit sets that they have that are discounted up to 15%. And like I said, the limited edition tote bag is free with orders $125 and up, but only while supplies last. The link will be the first one at the top of my description box down below and also in the pinned comment so you guys can easily find it. And thank you to Merit for sponsoring this portion of my vlog, and let's get back into it. If not Idaho, where else would you move? So Jared and I were actually talking about this recently. The dogs are both up here with me now. But we were talking about it, and okay, this is my dream, and I actually feel like it's kind of doable. But my dream is to live in Boise for 6 months out of the year, and then for like the cold winter, like maybe October to March, November to April, like 6-ish months, I want to live in a warmer place and just completely leave like the depressing winter. I'm just not a winter person. I'm not a cold person. I don't do skiing. I don't do snowboarding. I never ever got into that stuff. And honestly, people always ask me like, why don't I ski? Or like, it's never too late. And I feel like if that's something you want and you desire, I completely understand that. But I have never, ever, ever in my life wanted to ski or snowboard. I don't think I would have fun. I just don't think it's in the cards for me as somebody that's like very uncoordinated at any sort of sports like that. So anyway, that was a total tangent, and I don't think we'd be able to actually do this until we do buy a house, because then we could hopefully, like in a perfect world, sublease for like 6 months, you know, different things that come with that. Like we'll probably lock up any valuables. I don't know how it all works, but subleasing is like a very normal thing, and I feel like it could work out. The first place on my list is Arizona. I'm not exactly sure like what city. I've always had an interest in Scottsdale and kind of that area, and I also think going not in like the middle of summer when it's like 120 degrees there would be ideal. Like I could go, you know, this time of year when it's in like the 70s, it's sunny, and that's kind of my vibe, you guys. I feel like there is so many other places I would be open to living, and I've told Jared, I've made it very clear to him that it doesn't have to be in the next like 3 years or 5 years per se. Maybe it will be, but I want to live in at least one other place before like settling down. And honestly, settling down for me, because we're not planning on having kids, settling down for us just looks like buying a house and like being more present. We'll probably have to like end up doing some work on the house. That's just kind of like probably a given in this like real estate world that I honestly still don't know that much about, but like we're probably not gonna find the perfect house that we don't have to do any work on. The dogs are like licking their paws back here. They're a little antsy because they want dinner. Oh, you see what I'm saying? He heard me say that. That was a really long answer to the question, but definitely somewhere slightly warmer than Boise is probably what I would lean towards. Luckily, like we will have the flexibility to hopefully be able to do that whenever we do buy a house, and like hopefully it works out that we just have a lot more flexibility. Like when you're renting, you can't just like rent out, and like you can't just like leave for 6 months when you're renting. I mean, we'd have to put all of our stuff in storage, all this kind of stuff. So I feel like it's actually like the perfect plan. But we'll come back to that, you know, a couple years down the line. Do you still keep in contact with your YouTube friends / friends from LA? I keep in contact with a lot of people, and I think what kind of that looks like for me now is almost all of my friendships now are long distance. I don't have that many friends that live in Idaho. I do have a very small group of incredible girlfriends here that I can count on one hand. That is just like so incredible. And I do meet new people a lot, so I feel like it could always grow. But yeah, most of my friends are either like in LA. A lot of my friends still live in Georgia. I have friends all over the country because of like doing YouTube. So I know people that live in New York, Chicago, Ohio. My sister lives in Vermont. Like everybody's super spread out, and I think you guys kind of like know that because I've talked about that in videos before, just like having almost all of my friendships be like long distance relationships. But do I still keep in contact with YouTube friends and friends from LA? I do. I would say like I feel like I could be a little bit better, you know. I always say that I want to like go and visit, and I haven't been. And like I went in late 2021? Why was I thinking it was 2022? So I haven't been to visit in like 3 years. Honestly, most of the ways I keep in contact with people is just like watching their Instagram stories. We like reply to each other, TikTok, whatever it is. And then of course like texting certain people, especially if I'm like traveling to where, you know, they're gonna be or close. I'll try to like meet up with them. And yeah, I do still keep in touch with, I would say like it's gotta be like 75 or 80%. I mean, of like close friends that I had in LA, not just like everyone I ever met there, of course. It's definitely a different vibe, like being out here in Boise and just like seeing what everybody's up to. But I'm just that person that's like supporting from afar, loving you from out here in the potato state. As I get older and older, I just really cherish all of my relationships and all of my friendships despite having that distance. And luckily, in this day and age, we're out here in 2025, like it's so easy to just keep up with people, even if it is just online. I thought this question was kind of relevant to current times because it is January, and I personally find January the most depressing month of the year. I don't know if it's just me, just I'm such a Christmas person that once the Christmas decorations are down and all I have to look forward to is months of freezingness and cold, and it just feels like spring and summer is so far away in January. So I'm sorry if I'm a January hater and you're a January lover. I would love to love January. But anyway, the question is your go-to cures for the winter blues. So recently, and this is dependent on the day / like the weather where you live, but recently it's just been feeling sunshine on my face. Like being on a walk, going out in my backyard for a couple minutes, and literally just like the dogs are playing, putting my face towards the sun. Like that has truly been helping me so much. Today what felt really good was just driving around, and again, like it was a sunny day, so just feeling that sun and like being out of the house. I think just going out to do something for myself. Like today I went to work out. I popped by Trader Joe's and then I grabbed a coffee, which I quickly poured into this cup when I got home. But just like doing a little thing for myself, even if it's popping out of the house for 45 minutes. I love being at home, but I think I actually need that like break up in the routine, especially during the daytime when the sun is out. It's nice to just have that. Going on a little walk, whether it's with the dogs or a walk by myself. Taking a bath is always really nice, like giving myself that self-care time. January, February is kind of my like hibernation time usually. Post-Christmas, I'm just like organizing, cleaning the house, working, just kind of stuff like that. And it is really nice to be able to break up that routine by going out on a fun date night, doing something that's fun to do in the winter. And so I think it's really important to carve out that time for yourself. If you are feeling really, really in the winter blues, like making those little rituals for yourself, even if it's something super small, like looking forward to your coffee routine in the morning, or planning out some dinners for the week that sound really like inspiring and really delicious and kind of like almost like nurturing yourself in that way. I feel like I really need to nurture myself more in the winter time, being just that person that does get down more in the winter, and I have to like try extra hard to feel as good as I feel in the spring, summer, and fall. The question on everyone's mind. No, but I always get questions about the same topic whenever I do a Q&A, and sometimes I answer them and sometimes I don't. But has seeing your sister with chorovidia made you rethink being child-free? I am completely obsessed and in love with my niece. She's so freaking cute, so smart, so just like, oh my god, I just love her. And like just getting any updates, I FaceTimed with them the other day, and just any little like photo video updates, I just live for it. And obviously seeing her in person whenever I can. I'm planning on going to her first birthday, which is not for like 4 months, but I'm gonna see her in a few months. I love being an auntie so much, and I know that it's just gonna continue to get better and better and better as she gets older and I have more nieces and nephews, hopefully. But no, I have not changed my decision whatsoever. I've actually, not because of chorovidia or anything, just every single year I get older and like turning 30 and just even thinking about that more, like, okay, if it was gonna happen, we gotta start thinking about that before age 35. And literally just being so solid with myself and having my partner be on the same page is so incredibly like rewarding. I don't know if rewarding is the right answer. What is the word I'm looking for? Validating, I guess, is a better answer. But just we've had those conversations so much, and we just continue to have an open dialogue about it. And I always say that I'm open to my mind changing, but I completely don't expect my mind to change. I'm a few months into being 30 now, and I've been with my partner who I plan on, you know, having a life with. We've been together for over 4 years now, so I just feel like I would know by now. I just feel like some people are born to be a mommy and some people are born to be an auntie, and I am definitely one of those people that was born to be an auntie and just like be around all the kids and not have that experience on my own. And it doesn't have to be a sad thing at all. If that upsets anyone, that is wild to me. And I know this question is always, you know, hopefully for the most part out of just like curiosity and supporting me in love, but I think we should normalize that some people don't have that experience of ever really desiring motherhood. And I just love that with platforms like TikTok and with, I don't know, people are just sharing so much more nowadays than even 5-10 years ago when I first started sharing the fact that I never wanted to have kids. Like, I remember it just being such a different conversation. Even, was that like 10 years ago? Almost at this point. I think when I remember I made a whole video that was like why I'm not getting married and why I'm not having kids, like probably in like 2015 or something, maybe 2016. I changed my mind on the marriage part, but I've, yeah, completely not changed my mind at all on wanting an auntie life and not a mommy life. And let's normalize feeling any type of way that you feel about motherhood. All right, next question is, what's your most and least favorite parts of moving? So I figured somebody would ask about moving, so it could lead me to talking about this. Obviously you saw from the title, we are going to be, I can't even believe it still doesn't feel real, but at the same time, and I'll explain this, I have like accepted it now. I'm just like, all right, it's like really gonna be happening, but we have to move again. So basically what had happened was we moved in here in June, so literally not that long ago. Like, what is that, 6 months ago, 7 months ago, like right around 7 months ago, which is, damn, it's already been 7 months. That's crazy. We're renting here. Some people think that we like bought this house just because it's like in a neighborhood, it has like a little bit of a yard, but no, we are renting here. It's kind of an interesting situation, and I guess I didn't really like think about this ever coming up when we did move in here, but our landlord actually used to live in this house. So before us, she lived here, and then she put the house, you know, up for rent whenever we toured it and moved in. and we signed a year-long lease, which is standard. And I just didn't think anything else of it. I was hoping, you know, we're gonna live here for at least 2 or 3 years. So basically in August, so we had only lived here 2 months. And our landlord reached out and she told me like, hey Lindsey, I just wanted to let you know this as soon as possible. I don't want to leave you guys like hanging. You know, which was really like, looking back, it's super nice that she told us as soon as she knew. But she basically said like, we want to move back into the house once you guys' lease is up. Of course, we're gonna let you guys have your whole lease, year-long lease, but she had told me, which I don't want to get into like their personal details, but she had basically told me that they had like tried to buy another house and that it wasn't working out. That's basically what she said. And she said they wanted to come back here and move back in. So yeah, we found that out a while ago, actually. Like I said, this was in August, so quite a long time ago. And I thought about talking about it on YouTube, but at that point I was like just finishing up my moving vlogs, and it was crazy because it was like just when we were like fully settled, like we had bought, you know, furniture for certain walls and things like that. Not that like our stuff can't move with us, it's gonna move with us, and like hopefully it'll work. It's not the end of the world. Like, I guess I just never thought that like we would only live somewhere for a year and then it would be goodbye. And especially because we love living here. Like, we have a pretty good deal on this place. It's so beautiful. It's the kitchen pantry of my dreams. Like, so many things about this house I just love. I love the area. So it was obviously like very disappointing, but with us being renters, like that's just something that I guess could always happen. Like, you sign a year-long lease and then who knows if you're gonna even be offered to sign again, you know what I mean? So I guess looking back, I should have like considered that being a potential option with her, like, of something happening. But I don't know why in my head, I was just so excited. I was like, we're gonna live here for like hopefully like around 3 years, and then we were planning on hopefully like buying a house, after this rental. But anyway, finding that out when we did, it took a little bit for it to like sink in. One great thing that she told us was that if we decide to move out, like if we find another house before that, so we have until May 31st, because technically like I think we have to be out at the end of the month, so like we can't move out mid-month. So May 31st is like the date that our lease is up. And so she told me that if we ended up finding a place, you know, we're touring places, which is a whole thing. Oh my gosh, we're gonna be touring places again. But if we find a place, you know, before that timeline, we can move out at any time and just let her know, and there will be no penalty, which is super great. And I honestly kind of think she like should have offered something like that, because it's just like surprising. So yeah, we're not gonna have to worry about like this very specific timeline, May 31st. Like, thank God, which is really nice, because you just don't have a lot of control over stuff like that when you're looking for rentals, because usually they're just trying to get someone in as soon as possible. So with that being said, we kind of talked about it, you know, in the past few months, and we decided that we weren't going to start looking at places until the top of the year. So now we haven't toured anything. I'm kind of just like still in that place of like, I really do want to like ride out our lease here, but then also I definitely want to keep my options open, because it gets more competitive to move as it becomes spring, summer. So we do actually probably have a higher potential of like getting into a place maybe in the winter or early spring, and then getting closer to that summer date with, you know, like May 31st. So anything could happen, you guys, but basically, yes, we are going to be moving again in the next 4 months here, which is, yeah, I mean, I could sit here and like complain that we have to move again, but at the end of the day, it's like, you know what? I've moved so many times. I'm used to this. I'm an organized person. I know how to plan for stuff like this. We honestly got rid of so much stuff before coming here. Decluttering, we've continued to. So I just know it's not gonna be like that crazy moving out of here. I think the part that I'm a little bit concerned about, which I just, you know, it could go in the complete opposite way of what I'm worried about, which hopefully it will, but I'm just worried that we're not gonna be able to find a place that we like as much for, you know, like as good of a price. And yeah, I mean, I always just want to like love where I'm living because I'm home so often. So I think that's just the thing, is like it took us, we toured 10 places to find this house. And so if we have to tour 10 places again, I guess we will. I didn't share this prior on YouTube just because, like I said, it was like right after we had gotten settled. I was like, I'll tell them when we're like, you know, gonna start touring places and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, anyway, you guys, that's the current update. And honestly, it's just one of those things. It's like when you're renting, you just don't have that much say and stuff like that. So like, what am I gonna do? Be pissed off about the fact that it's just like, well, we're getting to live here for hopefully a year. You know, it might end up being a little bit less, and that is like such a blessing and such an amazing thing in itself. We really realized that we would love to stay in this area. We love this like neighborhood, and there are a bunch of like cute little neighborhoods right around where we live. So I'm so glad we moved here in the first place, even if it was only for a year or less than a year. I'm so glad we did end up coming here because I just love our little area, and I don't think we would have discovered it if we didn't move to this house. And so I just want to stay. I mean, who knows where we'll end up moving. It's going to depend on our budget and several other things. So with that being said, you guys, let me know what you would want as far as like future moving content in the next few months. I'm definitely not going to do it as big as I did last year, just because I had no idea back then that we would be moving again in less than a year. So I think if anything, I would make like 3, maybe 4 moving focused vlogs. I feel like you guys always enjoy touring the places, so I'm gonna film all the places we go to tour, no matter how many there are, because I feel like that stuff is always interesting to people. Maybe we'll get lucky and we'll end up finding a place that's cheaper than this that I love just as much, if not more. I think it is possible, especially since we have so long to look at places. Anytime from February to literally the last day of May, we could end up moving. It's probably gonna end up happening pretty quickly when it does happen. Like, it's gonna be an accelerated process, I think, but I'm just hoping for the best. So send me good moving vibes as far as like finding a new place. We are gonna continue renting. This is the year, I shared this in my last vlog, this is the year that we are really committing to beginning to save that chunk for a down payment on our future home, but we still need to rent for longer. So it honestly might be the type of thing where we move into a cheaper place that's not as cute, and we're saving a little, you know, few more $100s a month, being able to put that towards our down payment. I don't even think I answered the original question, which was, what's your most and least favorite parts of moving? My most favorite part of moving is probably just the energy of creating a new space and having like a fresh start. I love a fresh start. I love being like excited about different things that a certain home has to offer. All homes have their like highs and lows. So hopefully I'll find some things that I'm really excited about, even if it's not everything in our next home. And least favorite parts of moving, the cost. Even we did it ourselves this past time, and still just you lose out on money with having to, you know, pay certain things up front, not getting your security deposit back. Like, that's definitely my least favorite part. And obviously just like the annoyingness of having to pack everything up and then just freaking unpack it. Like, it's what moving is. But once you've done it so many times, you're just like, so you know what? I'm a pro, you guys. I've been moving for over 10 years now. I know how to do it, but you know what I mean. All right, that was such a long question. All right, I've got a few more. So I know I chatted for so long about that one question, but we'll finish it off with a couple more questions. When will you restart Unfiltered podcast? Miss it so much. So it's kind of funny because I never heard anything like literally for like 3 years about my old podcast. And then something in the past like few weeks, like I just got a comment on my last vlog, and a bunch of people thumbs it up with like, I miss your old podcast so much. I wish you still did it. And then I get this and I'm like, oh, like, I don't know what it is. Like something, I swear nobody mentioned my old podcast for a good 3 years. Unless I just didn't see it anywhere, because I read all my comments Anyway, I haven't done my podcast. I haven't done a podcast since spring 2021. And the reason I stopped podcasting was because I honestly did not enjoy the audio. I loved being able to like talk and have those conversations. So I'm not saying I didn't enjoy having a podcast. I did not enjoy editing it. It was very, very tedious and boring, and it would take me like 3 hours to edit one episode, if not longer, to like get it ready to post and actually physically post it and promote it and all that stuff. And at that time, I guess I wasn't working for Tidy Style, so at that time I did actually have more free time. I just didn't want to prioritize editing in that way. I did not enjoy it. It was not something that was like just the editing part of it. So of course I could like hire an editor, which, you know, I thought about doing, but I just wasn't making enough from my podcast at that time to cover that cost and have it actually be worth it to me. It would have been literally like almost like net nothing, I think, because I want to pay someone fairly. I've been having, and I always feel this way, I just miss the old YouTube style of videos like this, where it's just like sitting down in front of the camera and talking about a topic. And that's like what podcasting is. So of course it seems like, oh, the solution is just like make the podcast into video format. I don't know, you guys. I would love to hear your thoughts on if anyone has any ideas, because now I'm more busy. Now I'm working 2.5 days a week for Tidy Style, which I know people are gonna be like, that's nothing, but I also have a full-time job of being a content creator. And so I have 2 jobs, and I just feel like I can't really commit to that right now. I will say that I really miss having those open conversations. I do have a podcast on my Patreon. If anyone didn't know, it's actually my tier that is the lowest price tier on my Patreon that you can access all the podcast episodes. So yeah, if anybody didn't know that, you can always check that out for $3 a month. But I do miss that format of just being like so open and honest about stuff like that. And I do feel like that is something that's kind of missing in my sharing, because it's just not as easy to get deep and personal like that in vlogs a lot of the time. Maybe it is a series on my channel. Maybe it is even if it's once a month. Like, we have to be realistic here, okay? You know, like I said, I have more things going on than I did back then when I was doing my podcast. So I know I don't have the time to commit to editing that. It would be nice to have some sort of a, whatever it is, like a series or something that brings that format back. So I'm definitely open to hearing your ideas down below for how you would most like to receive a podcast style thing from me that isn't a podcast. But with that being said, my old episodes are always available to listen to and stream. So I'll go ahead and link my show down below on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, even though they're from a few years ago now. But if anyone's like a new viewer and wants to like go back and binge those episodes, I personally think we had a great time. I thought this was a good one to wrap it up. What were your top 3 highlights of the year? We're halfway into the first month of 2025 now, but I thought I would just quickly reflect on my top moments of last year. So number 1 is absolutely meeting my niece and my niece being born. Literally, like, the absolute highlight of my year was getting to meet her. And these socks. The next thing was probably just moving here and having a new, like I said, a new chapter, you know, a new place to decorate. It brings me a lot of inspiration to have time and energy to pour into my home. I love nesting and all that kind of stuff. So I would say moving here, and like I said, just being in a new area, a new neighborhood. Like, this is such a great neighborhood. I love it. The last thing was probably getting promoted. What is he doing? Getting promoted at Tidy Style. So I became a co-lead last year, which is the second highest job title that we have as far as our like day-to-day jobs go. That was just really exciting for me because, you know, I got promoted, let's see, like maybe a little over a year after. How long have I already been Tidy Styling? I've already been doing my professional organizing job for over 2 years, which is wild, and it just brings me so much fulfillment, and it really gets me in just a different like creative headspace and a different way to work my brain to like problem solve when we're figuring out how the heck are we gonna do this? It's just so rewarding to see the clients' reactions at the end. And so yeah, I've really taken on a lot, not a lot more, but compared to like my first year at Tidy Style, I only worked 1 day a week. And that was like actually kind of rare because my first year, I didn't even really work once a week. I probably worked like twice, maybe 3 times a month, because I just wasn't as prioritized in the schedule being a once a week person, like as people that literally have that as their full-time jobs. Last year, I just ended up taking on more in terms of my leadership role and in terms of just like being a lot more involved with our company, with clients, with my coworkers, with behind the scenes stuff, like going to the storage unit, getting product, having my own kind of things that I do, and of course taking on our Amazon shop, which I think was in like October or November. I can't quite remember, but yeah, now I'm doing our Amazon shop for 1 day a week. And so I've really just taken on a lot more than I was, and I think I'm at a really, really, really good place right now. For me, I don't think I would take on more at this point with having my full-time job being social media, because that is, at the end of the day, that's where I need to be focusing most of my energy as far as work goes. I'm totally rambling now, but yeah, those were my top highlights of last year. It was definitely like a more chill year in my life, like not a ton happened, I guess you could say, but then looking back on all that stuff, I'm like, well, that's all like big things. Okay, you guys, well, it was so fun catching up with you guys. I truly love doing these videos. I want to make a Q&A video like every month, but I feel like a lot of this stuff is kind of like same old, so I try to only do them like, I don't know, like 2 or 3 times a year when I feel like I have, you know, some life updates to share. But if you guys enjoyed this video and you made it until the end, let me know by giving it a like down below, and I would also love to hear from you guys in the comments. I feel like I asked you guys a couple things in this video, so I truly read every single comment and I really appreciate hearing from you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll be back next week with a new vlog for you guys. So as always, you can check out my Patreon, which is my extra content, at the link down below in the description box, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.